Aloha and welcome, Jan Wakefield here. I just wanted to go over the channeling session disclaimer and agreement. So first of all, I want to thank you for participating in a channeling session, whether it's private or public. I'm grateful that you're here. Please read and acknowledge this disclaimer before proceeding. Please understand the nature of services. The information provided during channeling sessions is for educational, spiritual, and entertainment purposes only. These services are not intended to replace professional medical, psychological, financial, legal, or other licensed advice. The scope of services includes insights, guidance, and information received during the sessions are to be considered spiritual and metaphysical in nature. Sessions may explore personal growth, spiritual development, and general life guidance. Information shared is not predictive and should not be taken as absolute truth. You maintain full responsibility for your own decisions and actions. Some important limitations. The practitioner, me, I do not diagnose, treat, or cure any medical condition. I cannot prescribe medications or advise about changing existing medications. I do not provide mental health therapy or counseling. I do not offer financial or investment advice. I do not provide legal counsel, and I cannot guarantee specific outcomes or results. Your responsibilities here are the following. By participating in a channeling session, you acknowledge that you are 18 years of age or older. You understand that this is not a substitute for professional services. You maintain full responsibility for your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. You will seek appropriate professional help for medical, psychological, financial, or legal concerns. You exercise your own judgment in applying any information received. Medical and mental health notice. If you are experiencing medical or mental health issues, consult qualified healthcare professionals. Maintain your prescribed treatments and medications. Do not delay or discontinue professional medical care. Treat channeling sessions and channeled healing sessions as complementary to, not replacements for, professional care. Your agreement. By proceeding with the session, you acknowledge that you have read, understood, and agreed to the terms and limitations. Your participation indicates acceptance of these terms and understanding of the non-professional nature of channeling services. Thank you. It's a beautiful day here in Hawaii. It looks a lot like that right now, even though that is a photograph. And I want to thank you all for coming today. The support for my work, the support for the work that the Blue Healers are doing in the world is really important, and I truly appreciate that. In addition, this Friday will be a free session, a public healing session, and it will be for the world. So for those of you who have concerns about activities that are going on in the world, conflict, wars, political things, whatever it is, Friday morning, 7 a.m. Hawaii time is the time to come and join. It'll be entirely breath practice. There is a sequence to it, and I find that the beautiful space is created during that time is really incredibly special. So come and join 7 a.m. this Friday. Normally I would do it the last weekend of the month, but I will be on an airplane at that time. So I'm moving it up to this upcoming Friday. And I hope to see you all there if you can make it. There will be an announcement in the group and it will be on this link. So for those of you who have saved this link, you can find it here. And it's going to be pretty special. During that time too, there will be a short channeling that will be a forecast for the month of September. Many of you enjoy hearing the forecasts for the month ahead, and sometimes the Blue Healers also discuss the forecast for the next few months, which they did in August. So I'll be curious to see if the information, what new information they have to bring to us at that time. All right, so let's get started. Go ahead and close your eyes. And if you haven't already done so, just tap into your natural breathing, your own pace, your own cadence, allowing your body to relax into a comfortable position. So sometimes I find when I'm beginning meditation, I have to move my body around a little, maybe adjust my clothing, take off my shoes, whatever it is to make your body feel just a little more comfortable. I like to say reduce friction to make things easier. And I used to have a friend who in meditation said, no, it has to be hard. It has to be painful. It has to be suffering. That is not personally my belief. My belief is that when we reduce friction in our lives, and that's part of what this work is about, that we free up our energy, our love, our connection for more heart, more coherence, more beauty. And so, in this process of the breath practice, you're breathing a little bit of space into the areas of tension, a little bit of space into areas of illness, and breathing a little bit of space into those pervasive thoughts that prevent us from sinking into the unknown. And breathing into our feelings of anxiety, anger, sadness, frustration, any emotions that are limiting us from being connected to the heart. Breathe into those spaces as well. And know that sometimes feelings get into the body, the tissues of the body, and sometimes create a little force or have a little party or create a little tension. And today you're just noticing those areas of the body or the mind where energies of your emotions are gathering together. And notice that sometimes those intense feelings, fear, sadness, anxiety, in their full force and strength, can be somewhat limiting. And now taking it one step further, allow your breath to become the loving arms you wrap around yourself. Forgiveness, forgiving yourself for imperfections that you perceive, forgiving yourself for being unwell, either physically or emotionally, forgiving yourself for turning down joy, turning down joy, and choosing again and again emotions that are limiting, Forgive yourself with your breath, saying to yourself, it's okay. It's okay. And now breathing deeply into the belly, allowing it to expand wide. And releasing at your own pace. Breathing in deeply to the belly. The violet beings have entered the space. The blue healers have entered the space. Starseed origin groups have entered the space. We thank you for being here today, knowing that in this space you are closest to our kind. And in this space and spaces like it, you are closest to achieving the goals that you have for coherence, connection, deeper love, and more freedom from the limiting beliefs that you have that create tension and disorder in your body. The violet beings would like to share a message that we will translate. They say, when there are challenges in your 3D world, restrictions, pain and suffering, ill ill executed relationships, and you have self-doubt, when these things emerge in the 3D world, understand that all information before you seeks to give you a sense of direction. All information before you, regardless of whether it is positive in your opinion or negative in your opinion, seeks to give you information and direction toward freedom. Humans have every opportunity before them for experiences of liberation from the challenges of life. However, many of you find it compelling and thrilling to feel a sense of discomfort within you. It has become a point of fascination for you because now you see that this fascination you have, this propensity toward emotions related to pain, suffering, and challenges, now that you know this is not how you truly wish to feel, but it is a force of your own creation in your desire for, and as we like to call it, an addiction to survival, the survival sensation within your body. Now that you are aware that these feelings of survival are really not necessary, it has become a little bit of a new game for you to play in breaking free. It is important for you to understand that the new game could simply be replacing the old game, that the seeking you have for the feelings and sensations of freedom from hate and fear and whatever else you have within you that creates a lack of coherence, the search for wholeness and completeness may simply be replacing those same feelings of pain and suffering. And so many of you are here seeking the distinction between the chase for coherence and the actual experience of coherence. The chase for love and connection versus the actual experience of love and connection. It is possible then that some of your kind, who may or may not be in this space, have created a game around spiritual seeking, around attempting to find validation in and value in the seeking portion of attempting to connect in love and coherence. And so we will begin with the first breath practice. We thank the violet beings for their message. And they say there will be more to come in this session from them. And so we will begin with the spiral breath. Breathe in from 8 to 1 in a spiral. Release from 1 to 8 in a spiral. Continuing this breath practice at your own pace. 8 to 1 and 1 to 8. For those of you who are new to this practice, the spiral can be tight around your spine. The spiral can be wide around your body. The spiral can be wider around your energy field, or the spiral may expand as wide as you wish around your family, around your community, around your nation, around the earth itself, in either direction. Now that we have explained the process over many months, it is time for you to discover in yourself how wide this spiral needs to be for you to achieve the benefit you desire. So for some of you, this spiral breath is a way for you to release information, release patterns and vibrational frequency of dis-ease, challenge, or discord. And for some of you, it is a breath practice where you are pulling new information from the eighth energy center of the collective of humanity in order to re-inform yourselves of a 3D experience that is slightly different from the one you are having in the moment. Only you can know which form of the spiral, how wide it will be, which direction it turns in the moment for your experience right now in this moment. And so, as you give intention to your own breath practice in from 8 to 1, Release from 1 to 8. Sense and feel into your body as you did with the very first practice we started with today, where you were tuning into the sensations and feelings of your body. Now give it some direction. Breathe the spiral in from 8 to 1, reinforming your cells. Release from 1 to 8, asking the energies of tension, dis-ease, lack of harmony, discord, and any feelings associated with those sensations, release to 8. And as you continue this breath at your own pace and your own cadence, monitor the questions that come up in your mind. Monitor the answers you receive from the 8th energy center. Perhaps you are still fighting with the directions. Perhaps you are still struggling with whether or not you are doing it correctly. These thoughts, these questions are part of what you are doing today. So you will release that tension as well when you exhale from 1 to 8. And so we have explained numerous times. There is no wrong way to do this breath practice unless you are holding your breath. If you are holding your breath, resume breathing. In from 8 to 1, out from 1 to 8. And for those of you who are already skilled at this breath practice, you will begin to notice sensations in your body for which you now understand are the cells vibrating in order to release information from 1 to 8. Tingling, involuntary movements, the need to fidget, the need to move your body. These are signs of your cells releasing energy. And then new tensions may arise, because once the tension or vibrational frequency of suffering, fear, anger, hate, dis-ease, discord, lack of harmony are released, new areas of the body will begin to seek your attention for the same release. In other words, there are layers within you of these habits and patterns in your body. As you continue 8 to 1 in a spiral, 1 to 8 in a spiral, you will also begin to notice at some point your body will tingle and feel a sense of dissolving. This is also a normal and natural part of the process. When you reach the point of dissolving, you will find your breath naturally moves from 8 to 1 to 8 to 0, and from 0 to 9, and 9 to 0, where you will repeat the quantum energy spiral breath from 9 to 0 and 0 to 9 in order to draw information from the quantum field into the cells of your body. Continue the spiral breath using your attention, your intention, and now what you know to be true. You can do this. You can release every area of tension, dis-ease, discord, and disharmony from your body. We will give you some time in silence to do this practice on your own. And now resume your natural breathing pattern, scanning your body once again with your intention, noticing the beautiful space you have created within you. And when you are ready, we will take your first question.
First question is from Natalie. Dear beautiful beings of light, today, the 5th of August, marks my 37th rotation around the sun, though I feel biologically closer to 25. What wisdom or guidance do I need to receive for my highest good in the year ahead? I'm open and ready to receive with a clear heart, with love and gratitude.
As is customary with your kind, we wish you a happy birthday. The information that you seek is within your heart. Since you asked this question, things have come up in your awareness and your consciousness that have made this question unnecessary to even ask. And you know this to be true. However, our recommendation for you at this time is to begin to be mindful around the aging process in your body. You are a catalyst of information and change for your kind, meaning that you have the information that supports reverse aging and anti-aging on your planet, meaning that there are experiences that you know about, simple ones that can be shared, where you will become part of a movement that is of your own creation, where you assist others with habits and patterns that help them reverse age or to reinform the cells within the body for how to slow down the human aging process. And for some, it will reverse the age of their cells. You will use science to assist you in this process. You will use science as not only your backup, but information that you will use to explain how your process works and why. Research will be a friend of yours. And this is all we have today for this question. We will take the next.
The next question is from Tracy. Dear Blue Healers, when doing the breath work, you mentioned to focus on the afflicted area in the world. The only thing that comes to mind is separation. Would it be better to choose a specific location, or is separation as a whole for the world okay?
The only separation in the world is within you, and every individual in this space who is out of coherence in any moment in time on your planet. If your perception of separation appears to be outside yourself, that is when it is most important for you to sit and take a few breaths into your heart and into connection. And so we ask that you all close your eyes at this time, and we will reiterate and re-inform you of the heart breath. There are two forms of this heart breath. When in any moment you feel out of coherence or feel a sense of or use the word separation to describe a state of being around you, this heart breath is most useful. And we will explain 2 or maybe 3 ways of doing this practice. And then you, in your own time, of your own volition, will choose which heart breath practice is best for you in coming back into a state of coherence, which is a state of the absence of separation. You will focus your energy on the 8th energy center. From there, you will breathe in the energy from 8 through 6 and 5 down to 4, where you will expand the heart energy center wide to the top of your breath. You will release and exhale. The energy will release from the front of the heart center, approximately 18 to 24 inches from your chest, where it will then circle wide around your arms like the rings of Saturn. Enter into the back of the 4th energy center, rise up through the spine, and you will complete your exhale in 8. So from 8, you breathe in through 6 and 5 to 4. Expand the heart wide. Release, exhale, front to back and up to 8, releasing the air and energy completely to the 8th energy center. In through 6 and 5 to 4. Release front to back and up to 8. Continue this breath at your own pace. In through 6 and 5 to 4. Release front to back and up to 8. As you continue this breath at your own pace, we will further describe in more detail how to perform this breath. You, if you visualize yourself to be Saturn, your body is the planet Saturn. The rings of the breath, when you release front to back, circle around you like the rings of Saturn. Notice that the particles are now visible as you exhale the energy from front to back. They return to the state of waves as they enter the backside of your heart and rise up to 8. And so this breath is particle to wave, wave to particle. So you breathe in from 8 through 6 and 5 in the front of the body, in through the middle of your forehead, in through the suprasternal notch of your throat, down to the heart. And then exhale front to back and up to 8. Wave is what exists in 8. Particle is what exists when you release 8 in through 6 and 5. So there is a momentary shift from wave to particle in front of your face. It returns to wave in your spine as it drops to 4. As you expand the breath wide, those waves reinform your heart. You release front to back into particle, surrounding your body like the rings of Saturn, back into the heart where it returns to wave. Continue this breath with your own intention. In through 6 and 5 to 4. Release front to back and up to 8. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 4. Release front to back and up to 8. And continue this breath. Now you understand that you are both particle and wave, and that to move from one state to the next with your breath is all you need to do in order to re-inform your cells of the state of coherence. Your breath is the most powerful tool you have as a human. And so it is for you, using this breath, to begin to release the need for your mind, your thoughts, to get you into particle or wave. It is simply your breath that does the work for you. And so imagine how simple this is. Imagine how simple it always has been. For as long as the human has been breathing, you have been dancing between particle and wave. This is for the entire existence of humanity. Continue the heart breath. And now repeat the heart breath as you have learned in this moment for an additional 6 breath sequences. And wherever you are in your breath sequence, breathe in from 8 to 1 in a spiral. Release 1 to 8 in a spiral. 3 more times. In 8 to 1 in a spiral. Release 1 to 8. In 8 to 1. Release 1 to 8. In 8 to 1. Release 1 to 8. And resume your natural breathing. At this point, you should feel a greater sense of coherence within you. We will, when you are ready, take your next question.
The next question is from Emily. Dear Blue Healers, are there limitations to what we can manifest in this 3D reality? Are soul contracts with difficulties, issues, etc. real? Thank you.
This is a fascinating question for us because the answer is both yes and no. There are limitations within you that you create for yourself. And from our experience with the human realm, these limitations are in your minds associated with the lifetimes, the timelines, the historical experiences, the religious practices, the cultural and regional patterning, the information from your individual parents who provided your DNA, the information from your friends and family or your relatives you have created along the way. Everything influences whether or not you have limitations or no limitations to manifesting or creating anything you want in your lives. And so there is a dance here, just like the breath. You breathe in and have an experience of connection, coherence, and love. You breathe out and you release all energies that may be related to the challenges within you. It is the same. Every experience in your life is a breath. It is an expansion in the oneness of all things, and it is a contraction, the pulling together, releasing, and becoming smaller in the information of the 3D world. So, if you were to think of it this way, the top of your breath is your expansion into the nothingness of the quantum field, into the ability and possibility of all things. And the contraction could be seen as, but not directly associated with, the smallness of the individual. And so you expand wide into being information of the entire universe. And you contract into the experience and knowledge of being just you, being separate from all things. And so with your breath, every single breath, you can expand wide all information within you to be tapped into the quantum energy field. And then you can contract and be the oneness of yourself. And so there is oneness in being nothing of the quantum field, and there is oneness in being the individual you. And so then there is the experience of everything in between, the top of the exhale of life, and the bottom of the top of the inhale of life and the bottom of the exhale of life. And so you have opportunities that are so vast within. Take a moment, each of you, and imagine what it is you wish to manifest in your lives. For some of you, you think in terms of the external world. You are counting dollars and cents, and you believe that the more dollars you have, the more currency or money you have, the easier your life will be. For some, that is the case. But for many, the more money they have, the easier it is to get away from coherence, connection, and love. For those of you who desire being free from your physical body, the suffering, the pain, the illness, understand that sometimes asking for the release of your body, the pain and suffering in your body, becomes more complex because the 3D world, the 3D existence is dense in nature. And so it is from the point of total coherence that deeper healing is more rapid. However, we also recognize that pain and suffering in the human form, both physically and perhaps even more challenging and more pervasive on your planet, is the mental illness and suffering that is so rampant for your kind. Physical suffering is easier to determine. It is obvious. You may have symptoms in your physical body that are quite visible to the outside world, and therefore the limited mind of your medicine loves to have symptoms for which they can produce some sort of a relief and alleviate what is going on in the 3D plane of your physical body. And so you all know that there is the energy portion of any physical illness. That energy portion is something that needs to be considered in conjunction with all of the things you do in the 3D world. And so, yes, you can manifest anything. And no, some of you will struggle with manifesting anything or any one thing simply because the limitations that have been created in the 3D world are at some point perhaps greater than the possibility for total coherence in the 3D cells. Let us explain a little further. All of this can be overcome in the quantum field, and coherence is possible regardless of the physical symptoms or sensations of the body, the physical 3D body. And the longer you can remain in that state of coherence in the quantum field, our recommendation is the breath practice from 9 to 0 and 0 to 9, only following the breath practice, the spiral from 8 to 1 and 1 to 8, until 8 to 1 and 1 to 8 results in a feeling of the physical body disintegrating away from and into and all around the physical symptoms. When you then transition from 9 to 0 and 0 to 9, you will be breathing solely through the quantum channel in your spine. 9 is the quantum field of all things. 0 is the quantum field associated with your Earth, and the channel in between is the empty space that goes in your spine. The empty space between 9 and 0 is where all the information of the quantum field resides for you. So if your desire is to manifest something in your 3D world, you will need to connect into the information of nothing, which is also the information of everything in the universe. To do so, it may take time for your 3D world, your physical body, and the information around you to align and adjust to your new vibrational frequency of wholeness, of oneness, of beingness in the unknown. And now we will take a moment to describe again. The violet people would prefer to explain human mental illness and how it differs from the human body. We will translate for them at this time. Mental illness within the human world is a tremendous fabrication of what it means to be human in your time right now. It did not exist in the origin of the human being, because in the origin of the human being on your planet, your physical body was more like that of an animal. And so the need for survival was an action that was taken only in the moment it was necessary. Because your world has become so because your world has valued knowledge and the functions of the brain, in its evolutionary process toward the expansion of consciousness, meaning everything happens as it should in its own time, something changed in the human matrix, where the mind became split from the body in terms of its existence as a central information connection to the tissues and cells within you. And so now the human mind has isolated its psychology into the brain itself. This split from the animal nature of the human body, the human being, is part of your evolution, and it is necessary for the alleviation of the human need for reactionary survival at all. The violet beings say that you all are on the right track with your evolution toward the release of the need for survival. What makes them similar to you, meaning the violet people who describe themselves as being as beings who live between 3D and 5D, simultaneously, meaning it is still their choice to be seen by you and your kind in 3D, is that they have released the need for the survival mechanism. Because they live in a greater state of coherence, they are in every moment giving and receiving experiences without the thought for outcome or what is necessarily without a thought for the outcome and without the need for attachment to fear. They say your kind has an attachment to fear, and this fear is what prevents you from manifesting anything at all. This fear and the need for the games that you play with fear prevent you from living in a state of complete coherence. They recommend you look to your natural world for what they mean. For example, birds in the sky will assume formation without any type of verbal communication. They simply know within their bodies how to assemble themselves in formation. The same is true for insects, including bees. Bees in your world will do their work based on the experiences they know to be true of their kind. All the animals in your animal kingdom have the same information. They do not live from a state of fear. However, they also, in many ways, lack the level of awareness, self awareness, and consciousness that humans have. This is not true of all insects or animals on your planet. There is an evolution of other animals on your planet as well, developing awareness and consciousness that exceeds where they were in time only a few decades ago. And so the violet beings insist that you are on the right track and to continue what you are doing, working with the expanding and contracting of your own being, the expanding into the universe, connection and coherence, and the contracting into yourself. You will exist both in the plane of the unknown and the unseen, and you will exist in the 3D world. It is the point of consciousness that flows between these two places that needs to capture your focus at this time if you wish to be free from limitations in your life, if you wish to manifest things that you currently do not have. The point of consciousness that moves between the worlds is where you need to focus your energy, your breath, and your expansion. This is all they have to say at this time about this question and answer. We will take an additional question.
The next question comes from Derek. Will this harmony in a healing group hinder healing? Is this situation affecting my personal healing journey?
The extra-dimensional beings of your starseed origin enter your space at this time with your permission. Derek, we ask that you close your eyes, that you focus on your breathing, that you focus on your point of consciousness that travels between 3D and 5D. You are already tremendously adept at traveling between the seen and the unseen worlds. And now we ask that you focus on your fifth energy center. That you breathe in deeply and completely to your whole body. Of course, use your intention to reach all the cells in your body. And as you exhale, with your intention, release through the fifth energy center. Your awareness, your consciousness, and your coherence allow us to remind you that your starseed beings are speaking to us for your benefit. We translate your awareness, your consciousness, your level of coherence, and your ability to tap into the unseen world is greater than some of the individuals around you. There is still part of you that feels that your purpose is to heal everyone around you. To heal yourself means to heal everyone around you. Your starseed origins recommend only the following. You trust your own heart. You heal your own heart and your own body without reverence or regard for the others around you. It is not your place to heal anyone else. It is only your place to focus on healing yourself. Regardless of the definition in your mind that this may be selfish, they encourage you to be just that, because selfish for you means that you turn your energy inward for 100% benefit of yourself and no one else. Not your group, not your father, not your children, not your parents, nobody, nobody else, just yourself. When you are able to turn your energy in toward yourself for 100 complete selfishness of healing just yourself, you will know the answers to who is meant to be in your space. Guard and protect the beauty of your own coherence, of your own healing practice, of knowing in yourself exactly what you need, who needs to be assisting you, how it needs to look. You and only you need to direct and guide the narrative around your healing. If this means at the last moment you say, I need something different, speak up and say what you need. This is an integral part of your healing process. And you know that this is true because you have been dialoguing with your starseed origin group for the same information. If ever you feel that anyone or anything around you is out of coherence with what you need, release that experience and bring yourself back to coherence in your heart. The time for being nice is over. The time for being ruthless within you is now. The time for being ruthlessly connected to the coherence of your heart is now. It is okay to let go of things that feel they no longer serve you. It is okay, because in doing so, you are providing freedom, not only for yourself, for your family, but for every individual who knows you and loves you. This is the gift you have to offer those people you describe as being part of your group. If there is a clarifying question, please take a moment to have someone ask this question for you in the chat space. We will wait a moment. And so we will close this space with a gentle breath practice. We wish to thank you all for being here in this space, allowing the wisdom and information from extra dimensional species to come through. For the individual who asked the question about a child who was abducted, it is important for the language around how the situation is described to change. It is important for the language to describe any experience to do with that child be put in the positive state. In other words, the word abduction is extremely limited. How you describe that experience could be worded in a positive way. This exercise for you alone is the most important exercise to practice, and perhaps is a lesson for all human beings. How you say things matters. Limited language will limit you. And so it is okay to say that my boyfriend's child is currently in a state of love and connection with our hearts while not being in our current space. And so as you begin to change your vernacular around how you speak about things, it will change the reality around you as well. This is general information for all humans, and we thank you for allowing us to share this idea with you today. Please close your eyes. Focus on your natural breathing. Allow the cells of your body to be saturated with your breath. Any cells that feel like they are not saturated with your breath at this time, that they are tense, breathe in air to saturate the cells of your body. We are going to explain a variation of the breath practice that will allow you to clear your physical body of anything you may describe as an entity, an outside entity of whatever way you may describe that, that you feel is within or attached to your body. The heart breath in a variation is excellent for the release of these energies. It is the same one that we described earlier. However, you reverse the release from front to back. Instead, it is back to front. So you focus your energy on 8. You breathe in from 6 through 6 and 5 to 4. Expand the heart wide. And then you will release back to front and up to 8. Everything we described earlier in this session applies. Particle to wave. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 4. Release back to front and up to 8. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 4. Release back to front and up to 8. Breathe in through 6 and 5 to 4, 3, 2, and 1 at once. Release back to front and up to 8. Continue this expanded breath, breathing in through 6 and 5 to 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 at once. Release back to front and up to 8. Continue for 10 more breath cycles. In through 6 and 5 to 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 at once. Expand the individual energy centers wide. Release back to front like the rings of Saturn and up to 8. Continue this breath through 6 and 5, expanding all of the energy centers wide. Back to front and up to 8. 7 more times. In through 6 and 5. Expand the energy centers wide. Back to front and up to 8. 6 times. In through 6 and 5. Release back to front and up to 8. 5 times. In through 6 and 5. Begin to notice the energy centers that are releasing, how they feel lighter. Notice the ones that are not as light. Release back to front and up to 8. Breathe in through 6 and 5. Release back to front and up to 8. 3 more cycles. In through 6 and 5. Release back to front and up to 8. In through 6 and 5. Release back to front and up to 8. In through 6 and 5. Release back to front and up to 8. One more time. In through 6 and 5. Expanding all the energy centers wide. Release back to front and up to 8. And now breathe in through 6 and 5 to 6, 5, and 4 at once. Release back to front and up to 8. Again, in through 6 and 5 to 6, 5, and 4. Release back to front and up to 8. Last time, in through 6 and 5 to 6, 5, and 4. Release back to front and up to 8. Breathe in from 8 to 1 in a spiral. Release 1 to 8. 2 more cycles in a spiral, 8 to 1. And last time. And resume your natural breathing. Relaxing the muscles in your body, saturating your cells with information of love, coherence, and connection. Using the breath to saturate your cells with love and coherence. A violet people recede from the space. Derek's dimensional beings stay with him in his space. The other observers from the extra-dimensional realms are receding from the space. The Blue Healers would like to thank you for your time here today. We acknowledge and recognize your beautiful hearts and how when you come together in this space, healing happens to a greater degree. Continue your connection with one another. Continue gathering for the purpose of creating love, connection, and coherence. We thank you again for asking for our wisdom. We are always here for you. You can ask us questions at any time during your meditations. And the blue healers recede from the space. Okay. All right. Thank you all so much for being here. What a pleasure it is to work with all of you. I will take a moment, let me check the time, to unmute all of you so that if you would like to share an experience, you can do so. We have time for 2 people.
Jen, thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. Protect and stay in this beautiful space. Thank you so much for being here. Sending you lots of love from Hawaii. I understand that Jan Wakefield and Jan Wakefield Professional Healer, DBA, Jan Wakefield Awakened, will own the copyrights to the recordings and all materials created or distributed in connection with these channelings, sessions, and workshops, and that no personal recording devices or cameras are permitted inside the channelings, sessions, or workshops. Any reproduction or distribution of any such materials to third parties without the express written consent of Jan Wakefield is prohibited. I hereby grant Jan Wakefield and Jan Wakefield Professional Healer, DBA, Jan Wakefield Awaken, the right to reproduce in any manner whatsoever, without compensation, any recording of my presence during this channeling, session, or workshop. I assume full responsibility for my reception and use and results from the materials connected with this in any way. Channeling, sessions, and workshops. I assume full responsibility for my reception and use of and results from the materials connected in any way with this channeling, session, or workshop. And I understand that Jan Wakefield and Jan Wakefield Professional Healer, DBA Jan Wakefield Awaken, is responsible only for the orderly presentation of the channelings, sessions, and workshops, and that I am voluntarily responsible for my own participation in channeling, sessions, and workshops. and for my own well-being. I hereby acknowledge and I have read the channeling sessions and workshops guidelines fully. I understand them. And by attending a Jan Wakefield channeling session or workshop, I agree to be bound by their terms and conditions. I certify that I am 18 years of age or older, and I accept the channeling sessions and workshop guidelines at my own free will.